G'day viewers. Now if you're even a casual viewer of this channel, you've probably picked up that I'm not a fan of the sports. There's a bunch of reasons for this. I generally think it's a waste of time. I generally think its importance is overinflated. But behind all this is a thing of not liking the mentality that happens within a lot of sporting teams, particularly lads who have had a few drinks and are going to do something that's a bit of fun, that often involves violence and or destruction of property. And yes, I've personally been on the receiving end of this before, and I hold a grudge. Now, Melbourne is home of AFL football. It's played around Australia, but Melbourne is the hub of it. It's like the religion in this city where I live. I manage to ignore it most of the time. It's coming up at the end of the regular season now, and something that happens these days, the players call it Mad Monday. On a Monday, the end of the season, they have a party, they go wild. If they're not in the finals, they dress up funny, they have a wild time. And look, if you've seen me at YouTube gatherings, you know I'm in for carrying on a bit. And by and large, I don't mind what these guys do, except when the boyish high spirits get too far. And in previous years, that's included things like violent assault, and pack rape. Now, what did they bless themselves with this year? Well, this year, the St Kilda football team has had to own up to one of their players setting a guy on fire. Yeah, and the player who did it is a 29-year-old called Clinton Jones. He's 29! He's a fucking adult. He's a supposedly grown man. He doesn't have the excuse of, young and dumb. 29! You're supposed to be beyond setting people on fucking fire by that time. Blake Johnston was an entertainer at the party. He's hired through a group called Dwarf My Party. And so he's a little guy dressed up in costume. And this guy Jones decides to set him on fire. Now, by all accounts, Johnston himself hasn't suffered injury, just probably freaked right the fuck out by being set on fire. His costume caught on fire. It was put out before there was too much damage. But you've got this bizarre thing. Whenever one of these high-profile people do something really fucking stupid and get caught out, it's like, well, I've offered an apology. Really? You're sorry you set a guy on fire? That settles it, does it? You've apologized. Fuck me. If I knew that's how the system worked, I'd be getting up to a lot of shit that I don't do, If I knew that, if I went and burned down your fucking football club, I'd get away with it by saying, I'm sorry. But look, I'm understating his contrition. He didn't just say he was sorry. He gave a donation to a kid's cancer council. And I have to admit, as soon as I read that, I thought of another story that I was aware of, and it made me think, wow, so if setting a dwarf on fire means you have to give money to a kid's cancer charity, if you steal money from a kid's cancer charity, do you make up for that by setting a dwarf on fire? There are some people I should not be giving ideas to. But anyway, so it blows my mind that this is being put about as, well, it's settled now, I apologized, and he accepted it. You'll be surprised to learn the police are actually looking into it. Because the police do a lot of things in their time. They look into traffic offences, robberies, violent assaults, and when people get fucking set on fire. So yes, probably people wonder, why don't you like sport, Mr. Angry? What's your problem with it? Among other things, it inspires this fucking arrogance that lets people set someone else on fire and think a fucking apology ends the matter. No, you know what? There's laws, and it doesn't fucking matter if you're rich, a celebrity, a sporting star, you fucking should be subject to the same laws as the rest of us, including the commensurate punishment. Now that's the news, and that's the truth.